Welcome to a special series of Art Pays Me interviews with the winners of the 2025 Creative Nova Scotia Awards. Presented annually by Arts Nova Scotia and the Creative Nova Scotia Leadership Council, these awards celebrate artistic excellence across McMahon. Award categories are as follows: Creative Community Impact, Prix Grand-Pré, Established Artist, Emerging Artist, Black Artist, Indigenous Artist, and finally, the Portia White Prize, that is given to a person who has made outstanding and significant contributions to Nova Scotia's creative community over a sustained career. Much like the incredible woman that the award is named after. The winner will also choose a protege, an emerging artist or cultural organization that will also receive funding. Collectively, the awards are worth $75,000. Visit artsns.ca to nominate your favorite Nova Scotian artist or nominate yourself. This series would not be possible without the fantastic production work of Heist and Kiki Beats.
All right, so
Am I going to get fun Dwayne or am I going to get interview Dwayne?
you're going to get interview Dwayne with a little bit of fun Dwayne to keep us honest.
Okay. Or it's fun Dwayne. One fun Dwayne.
Christopher, welcome. No, let me start that over. Christopher, thank you for welcoming us into your space. It feels like coming back home for me because I just finished my residency here. And by here, I mean Pavia Gallery Cafe. And I said your name, but I'm supposed to be asking, what's your name? What are your pronouns? And what is your artistic practice?
Christopher,
Yes.
Webb, he, him. Artistic practice, I guess. I mean, if you go to my website, it says multidisciplinary artist, but,
Yeah.
you know, there's a curator working with, she says, but you're mostly a painter, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm mostly a painter, but absolutely, the further I get into it, the more it is becoming more and more.
Yeah. Like the container work you did, like that's beyond painting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, was that good? Was that a compliment?
It was, yes.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, no, it's beyond. Yeah, I was kind of, I had done some portraits just like for studies.
Yeah.
Because I was going through a phase of like, what the fuck? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? And someone said, well, just paint, like, don't worry about making artwork. So I started doing some portraits and people responded to them with like what they thought was a compliment. They're like, wow, I didn't know you could paint. Like that kind of stuff. Which is really, so I thought, well, maybe like if I lean into that and kind of try to move in, because I can paint realistically. I mean, I've been painting for a long time.
Yeah.
So I started creating these small container paintings that basically were around where we prioritize efficiency and profit over the environment and really our own well-being.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, those small container paintings were supposed to be like, I liked when people would say, oh my God, they're so pretty. Are they, is that a photo? Those stuff can't be a painting. It's all the stuff you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
But really what they missed was that like the subject matter was not great. But they were kind of roped into it. So,
Right.
So yeah, I guess painter.
So is there a person, place, or event that set you on this path?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like specifically?
Specifically, yeah.
So when my grandmother was in her 60s, she had a sister that introduced her to oil painting. So she started painting with oil. And I was 3 at the time. So she and I spent a lot of time, in terms of childcare, I spent like all my time with my grandmother. So at 3, I started painting with oil. And I mean, like, there's photos of me and I'm like a serious little Dean painting. Like I'm not. So, sometimes people say, oh, well, you can paint. And I sort of say, well, yeah, I'm in my late 40s, but I've been doing it for like well over 45 years.
There you go, yeah.
So and it's like a language to me.
Yeah.
My English is pretty good and my painting is pretty good because I've been doing both for a long time. So
yeah.
And it's funny, the influence, because she was also Italian and her name was Madeline Asprey, but her name was Maddalena Pavia. It's a maiden name. So yeah, there's no question that was the beginning of it all. And really because by the time I got to university age, for example, yeah, I was good at school and I did well.
Yeah.
And so I never really thought of like, when am I going to go to art school and learn how to paint? Like, and really, like,
Well,
it was always just something not even like in an egotistical way, it was just like painting was part of who I was.
right.
So I didn't feel I needed to. So I went off and did a really practical degree, political science. So, so yeah, but it was sort of always there. But as life's gone on, like I joke about art school and things with some of my close friends, people like you. Like there's a lot of people that have gone through, and people that have exhibited at Pavia over the years that were professors at NASCAD, and there's I really value that. It just so happens that it's just not how I kind of self-actualize as an artist.
Right. So with all these different experiences you've had, is there one particular project that is significant to you in some way?
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about, like, we're being really honest, it's what I'm doing right now. Like, I can point back to things over my life that have been significant. I used to sell my artwork on the waterfront,
Right.
and I was making a killing down there,
Right.
that was significant.
Selling to tourists.
And yeah, and local people
Okay.
too. And, it was, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about being down there and how to relate to people. The time I just got back from living in southern Italy and painting there, and was sort of like, well, should I go to law school or should I be an artist? I made the wrong choice and I decided to be an artist. So, but I learned a lot from there. Or I did a show with one of my best friends, Lennon Anderson, and that was really important in my career. It really launched my career here, certainly locally, but it led to a lot of things that I kind of was chasing for the past 25 years. But really, I feel like what's most significant, and it's always been this way with me, is I'm really into what I'm doing now, and I really have a vision for where I want to go with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I saw the question, or we talked about it, like, and I've had some really great things in my career. Like Venice was crazy. What happened in Venice was crazy.
Yeah.
But really doesn't mean anything. Like that happened. It's done now. So, it's the things I'm working on now that I'm most excited about.
Yeah, that's established artist thing. Like, it's when you're in this position you're in, it almost feels like everything is behind, but you're still actively saying
I'm a young,
a lot more.
we're essentially the same age. You and
Yeah.
I.
Yeah,
Let's not
we're similar. I know, that's why
I mean, we're just two young guys in our 40s.
we've
For
had this
something.
conversation where it's like hard to know whether or not, at least for me, I fall in the established or the emerging or the
We're established. This is ridiculous. Yeah, there is that. I mean, I guess I don't know. Established art is really, I mean, by the definition, isn't it like emerging is 0 to 5 years post studies, and then established is anything, before senior. I certainly don't feel like a senior artist,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's a lot going on, but even, but I'm in the middle of it. And I also have I have zero retirement plan.
Yeah.
I was on Facebook, which was awful. And there was this guy I went to school with that said, "Hey, friends, I'm 47 and I've retired." And I'm like,
That's
oh my
awful.
God. Well, not only that, I started trying to figure out, like, I wonder when I can retire. And I did the whole thing. And it was like, 93 with 11 good days of sweet living after that. And then I'm on my own. Like it's, I think with this type of, what am I going to do? Retire and then go paint? Like a lot of people kind of I don't know. I just feel like I've also been fortunate enough that there's been people I've got to know over the years that in the arts in general, but we're still pushing, pushing,
Yeah.
pushing to the end. There's a guy in Italy that I had a chance to get to know, and I mean, he died sort of fairly youngish in his 70s, but he was still pushing and doing things, and he was still upset, when stuff was going wrong.
Yeah, that's love. I love hearing that.
Yeah, it was, it wasn't okay.
Yeah.
And his house said otherwise, and his catalog said otherwise, and but he was still like, he was kind of pissy about stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I get that.
The great discontent is
Yeah, you
call it. So where do you find your inspiration? Is there like a seed of where your ideas typically start?
know, I find that almost now it's almost the things that it's the uninspiring things that are now starting to cause the work. Like, like try, there's always sort of like, there's you as an artist,
Yeah, yeah.
and then there's your life. And,
Yeah.
and sometimes they can be two very different things. And the further into my career I'm getting, I find that it's sort of like they're starting to do this.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's my life and my work, and so, man, I was in March. My mom, which is the Italian side of my family, we were getting all the documents together because I was going to try to get Italian citizenship. They basically had citizenship by descent, it was called. So anyone, as long as you could prove a birth and death from anyone in your Italian family,
Yeah.
that was it. And being Italian was, look, my daughter's Maddalena, named after her.
Yeah.
And the place, the gallery and cafe is Pavia, after my Italian grandmother. Clearly, there's some significance, right? So I thought, do I want to live in Italy? No. Am I happy with being in Canada? Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
all you have to do is look globally and think, oh, yeah, we've got it pretty good. But am I still discontent about stuff that happens here? Absolutely. But the idea of sort of taking some of my piles of rocks and kind of moving them over to Italy, and then after having all this stuff together, and it was a lot, they had this decree that said, nope, we're closing that loophole.
Yeah.
And that was sort of it. And I was just like, I mean, it hit me because I'm like, you can only be in Italy for like 3 months a year now.
Mhm.
And some of the projects I'm doing over there, and I'm going to be teaching some art workshops in Italy, and there's some more residencies I want to do, and I have a chance to do more work in Venice and showing there. So it's like, well, that I want to sort of be more a part of that, or in Europe in general. So my work right now is looking at inwardly, I guess, at the movement of my family and the fact that they risked everything over 100 years ago to try to get from southern Italy to Canada in between the First and Second World War.
Yeah.
My great grandmother, who came with what we thought was her husband but wasn't, who ended up leaving her with like all these kids, all the assimilation of trying to have it, growing up in poverty, all these things they sacrificed. And then I hear it, like, my dad's very sweet. He's like, oh, your great grandmother would be so proud of you. I'm like, I don't know. She sounded pretty surly, and she didn't suffer fools. I think she'd be pretty pissed that her privileged, good for nothing great grandchild is now like, but I want to go back to Italy. And, so I, there's sort of examining that. And I think, my partner's from the UK originally, is here, and she works with a lot of newcomers. And, there's sort of these you can see these sort of patterns emerging of like, and I realized, I think, with doing the container paintings, we're talking about the movement of goods, that I now want to talk about the movement of people, and my family story, and how that, so that was an uninspiring thing that I would just like, I need to work on that. I need to think about that.
Mm. Yeah, it's got me thinking about me with my kids and how I've been trying to get them Bermudian citizenship so that
Is it hard?
it's not hard, but it's being more complicated than it should be, I think. Like there's certain things you're supposed to do, and for whatever reason, just we keep hitting these stumbling blocks. But
But then why would you want to have them? Like, why do you want them to have Bermudian citizenship? Why is that?
for that same, like you said, like that connection back to that land that is somehow important to me, and so that they recognize their identity and where the little idiosyncrasies that they have came from.
Yeah.
Like, because like I don't want to forget that and run away from it for negative reasons,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And just on that, because I know because it's also a podcast, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like, one of the things that I was doing, like a spoken word poetry workshop with the Centi magazine, which is like Italian Canadian thing.
Yeah.
And they had a prompt that was like, what does it mean to you to be Italian Canadian? And I was sort of thinking about my grandmother's Italian tomato sauce recipe.
Mm.
And I used to, like, it was the secret recipe, right? Like the secret family recipe. And this curator in Athens, we were talking about it, and I was telling her the same story. And she said, "Can you tell it to me?" And I went, "Yeah, I'll tell you." She said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I'll tell it to you."
Yeah.
She's like, "Just a second." I could hear like getting a pen and stuff. I said, "All right, here's the recipe. It's 2 cans of Hunt's tomatoes. Okay. 1 can of Hunt's tomato sauce." She went, "Oh, all right." I said, "All right. And then you're going to use, and so for the sauce, you can also use a bit of ketchup if you need to." And she's like, "Are you kidding me?" I went, "No. Do you want more? It's like the meatballs are like premium plus crackers." I said, "Yeah." Because I realized what this family recipe was basically the only thing that immigrants coming to Canada back in like
They
the
have access.
40s had access to. So the family recipe for tomato sauce and meatballs was essentially shit. So when my daughter one time said, "Dad, we're doing this thing. We need our family recipe
Yeah.
for tomato sauce." And I'm just like, "Well, I'll see if I can find it." She's like, "No, Dad, like what we make at home, because I'm vegetarian.
Right.
So our meatballs, there is no meat in the meatballs, and all the tomato sauce is made with like fresh tomatoes and all these things." So for her, the family recipe is that. And you realize like, okay, well, that's interesting. So, when you're talking about your kids going back to Bermuda, like, but also you are also that to them. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're as much Bermuda to them as Bermuda will ever be to them too, You know what I mean? Like there's all those, yeah.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
fun, like, me making these recipes that,
Yeah.
I'm starting to do that now because I'm like, "Oh, man, I haven't had that since my whoever made that for me. I'm gonna start making."
And if you don't make it, kids like
It goes away.
goes away.
So, yeah. So decades and even centuries from now, and people are looking back on your work, what would you like them to say about it?
I really don't care. But I like
Fair.
sports. I like sports. One of my students said, like, "What do you listen to when you're in the studio? Like when you're paid to things?" I'm like, "It's generally sports talk radio." And they're like, "Oh, you listen to people like play sports?" I'm like, no. I listen to people talk about people play sports. So those are 2 different things. So I kind of feel like whenever you hear like pro athletes that are dialed in,
Yeah.
they're like, "What about your legacy?" or "What about this?" I don't think pro athletes could give a shit about like
Mm.
when you're in it. Like you just got to be in it. And then when you retire, then you can start thinking about those things. But as we've established, I don't feel good about the retirement plans right now. So I think the truthful answer is I just, set that question. Like, what do you want to, what do you want to do when you die? Like, what do you want them to do for your funeral? It's like, well, I could tell Victoria what I want to do, but she can really do whatever she wants.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? That kind of reminds me of the ludicrousness of the LeBron versus Jordan debate.
Yeah.
Of who's the best basketball player of all time, because you can tell LeBron obviously probably wants to be that, but he's still active. So he doesn't care nearly as much as all these random people do. He's
Yeah.
still like, I still got things to work at and do.
Yeah.
You guys can have that and figure that out yourself.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of what you said, because it's like, yeah, he's still active. So,
Yeah.
I think he'll care more when he retires.
Yeah. And sports are always interesting too, though, because they're so stats driven.
Yes.
Like there's no competition.
Yeah.
Like who's a better artist, you or me?
Right. Exactly.
It's you. No, it's you.
It's not.
No, it's you, Dwayne.
We've had this conversation.
But I'm just saying, but there is no like,
Yeah, it's
like there's
it's
like this.
subjective.
It's such a subjective thing. So, and I think that's sometimes what I like about sports is it's all like
right.
it's very like you can tell who's.
Yeah.
There's no amount of working out that's going to make me a better artist. Disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, I still take basketball, but
Yeah.
So outside of the materials in your studios, here, what are some like key pieces in your process that you can't be without?
Yeah. Right now, definitely people and conversation. So, the art, we basically fund the art residency ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not like, the residents here, like like if the art residency were an artist, it would be an emerging artist. So we're still trying to feel things out. But every artist that we've had in the residency has been someone that I really like and really want to work with, like when you came in.
Yep.
So what I've realized is in the practice, I've been represented by galleries before, and for the most part, it has never really been a great experience because my brain also sees the business side of stuff, and I'm just like, what? Come on, like what?
Yeah.
I don't like that. And then I've represented artists before when Pavia Gallery was, when this place was 2 stories and it was all gallery, and I just realized like I do not like representing artists. It is not my thing.
Yeah.
But in all of that, what I realized was I love collaborating with artists. Like, when you come in here, like, it's tough to put on. I don't look right at the camera, but I can't put it on. Like when you could come in, like I get excited when you come in, like,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
God, let's have a coffee, let's have a chat. What are you
Right.
doing? And sometimes you'd be having a shitty day. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Or I'm having a bad day. And I love that collaboration.
Yeah.
And I love different groups. Like in London, there was the Bloomsbury group, for example. I love like when people come together. So what I've realized is I love that collaboration. And the more I collaborate with people, like our art practices are different, but what you're doing is so interesting to me. I'm interested in what you do.
Yeah.
And Leanne Poole, who's the artist in residence now, like she's, she would say she's not an artist. She's a playwright and a writer, not a visual artist, I should say. But
Yeah.
but like I just love those connections. So I find that more and more, that's what I really need because the painting's there, or I can do the video edits myself for the installations I want to do, or I can create little vignettes of things if I need to, or I can build out doors, and I have that. The toolbox I feel is good,
Yeah.
but what I really need is the bouncing things off of you and trying to figure out things. And so that's the connection.
Yeah, I love that about this space too. Like when I was in my residency, just it seems to attract these weird different types of artists
Yeah.
that just
Yeah.
all seem to hang out here. And then scientist people like from my Dow world,
Yeah.
I'm meeting like Milan Horshak
Yeah.
and him and I talking science and art and where those overlook, and Michael Dunbar and talking science and health and at sports even and art and where that overlaps. So
And that inspiration, like suddenly, talking to Milan, for example, he's a great example. Like he's been a customer at Pavia almost since we opened. But his daughter is like this crazy amazing performance. Like when I was just like, just so you know, like
yeah, I was
she's a
blown away.
performance artist that's shown at the Tate. And you're like, at the Tate? Yeah, like and then
And she just shows up one day.
and she shows up, and it's so yeah, that's sort of always been the magic of this place too. So
Yeah.
People don't necessarily see it, but it's here.
Yeah. So I have 2 wild card questions to
Mhm.
throw it off. One is do you have a long-term vision for this, or is it you're not even really trying to do that?
And what do you mean for this? Like
I guess maybe the residency, your own practice, and maybe I'll dial that back. Is it too difficult? Is it difficult to focus on what you want to do as an artist while also, I guess, doing this whole overall cafe, residency, everything else? Like, do they conflict in some kind of way?
So they have. Pavia started as a art gallery, art gallery.
Yeah.
With a really kick-ass espresso bar on the inside. That was the philosophy.
Yep.
But it just snowballed, and then it became 4 locations. And then in that, 2 of our locations were also with like the municipal government, the provincial government. Nightmarish. Imagine your landlord is the state of Halifax. Can you imagine that? Oh my God. And God bless the province. But
Yeah.
so all of those things, you just start realizing. And again, as much as, I remember having an argument with this lady at the library that's just like, oh, well, you're so dramatic. You're supposed to be a business owner. I'm like, I'm not dramatic. I'm an artist and I'm Italian. I'm not yelling, like all that kind of stuff. So So dialing back into just this space downstairs and the art residency and then the studios up here and my partner's practice is here and our life is sort of all right here.
Yeah.
I see, I don't see it now as a conflict. I see it as all the same thing. The art classes, people come and take art classes here and it's great. And then some of those people are going to take the art classes in Italy. And then some of those people collect my work.
Yeah.
And then some of those people are downstairs. And then some of those people are people I talk to about my art practice. And then some of those people become people like Leanne Poole that I meet here that end up collaborating. And
Yeah.
it all feels to me the same. Now, I don't put that on the website. Like, come to Pavia Galleries, Festival and Cafes, you can help my art practice.
No, but it happens.
But what I've realized is, I spent so much time trying to like divide it out. Like, I didn't even tell, like, I tried to not tell people when I was doing an art residency in Italy. I don't think they even knew about Pavia.
Right.
And then there's other people with Pavia when we first opened that didn't even know I was an artist. But now I'm just like, no, this is just, it's how we move through life. Like,
Yeah. And that's how my residency here happened. I mean,
yeah.
You showed up at the basketball run one day. We start talking art, catching up, and next thing you know, we're collaborating.
Well, then I was arguing with you because you were just saying about basketball and, and I was making the argument that basketball is your art practice.
Yeah.
That going out and playing basketball is part of what you do. That it's not a separate other thing,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the way I make some art on that court, man.
Yeah.
It's like I rip people up. I like to entertain.
Sorry, I know I'm confused what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, just
Well, how does it
focusing on that.
I'll have to go back and.
Last question. Who wins 101, you or Madalena?
So I know the question you really want. What the people watching this and listening right now, they don't care. What the people want to know, but I think the question in your heart is if we played one-on-one.
I already know the answer.
First of all, Madalena beats both of us. It's not even nice. And she's sweet too, so she's really nice. She'd be like, "Hey, Dwayne, you did a great job. You're really great." Like, she's that type of kid too, which is really nice. But when we play, like on paper, you should totally annihilate me every time. Like, you totally should. But it doesn't. But that's not.
I take Dean. I'm taking everybody.
Dean.
That's my energy.
Yeah. Okay. We should stop right there.
Well, thank you for welcoming us into your space, Christopher. I see we're going to leave that unresolved.
Yeah.
But thanks for having us.
Yeah. Yeah. Pleasure.
Dean's my brother, but...
Thank you for listening to Art Pays Me. Hit me up on socials at Art Pays Me pretty much everywhere. And let me know what you think. I love connecting with listeners. If you're an artist looking for clothes that celebrate who we are as professional creative people, check out artpaysme.com. And don't forget, visit artsns.ca for more information about the Creative Nova Scotia Awards. Peace.